In this edition of Rave Rookie Reviews, we're talking about our favorite targets for the Rookie Origins Tournament on FastDraft, the fastest new best ball game on the planet. Listen, we all love best ball drafts, but it's hard to make time for them in the spring when you're dealing with yard work, baseball games, bonfires, cold beers calling your name. But that's where FastDraft comes into play with a 20-second timer clock. These drafts take no longer than 5 minutes because you're only drafting 6 rounds. If you like what you're hearing, use the promo code IBT for a $25 match on your first deposit. And today, gentlemen, we are, of course, talking some fast drafts specifically for the Rookie Origin Tournament. And this is, I think, one of the most unique offerings out there, really, for any best ball platform, gentlemen, specifically because you're only drafting rookies and you're only drafting them for their rookie year. This is a tournament that is 6 rounds. Third round reversal will be in play. 10 teams, roughly 5,900 entries, full point PPR, 4 points per passing touchdown. Eric, let's go ahead and start with you, man. Your favorite Rookie Origin target on FastDraft is?
Oh man, it's hard to pick a favorite. One of the things that I love about playing on FastDraft is, as a newer platform, it's kind of soft. There's a lot of soft spots in these ADPs that you can
Some
take advantage
inflation.
of.
Yeah.
The one that jumps out to me is Jayden Higgins, the wide receiver from Iowa State. I mean, look, I am one of the biggest Jayden Higgins fans out there. I think that you can kind of squint one eye and see a lot of Ted McMillan in his game, right? He's like a Ted McMillan who gets off the line better and doesn't have to make acrobatic contested catches, right? But his range of outcomes is admittedly much wider, right? He's somewhere on the low end as like an Alan Lazard, or on the high end as high as like a Nico Collins. And that is exactly the profile of player that you want in a best ball format. And I think that NFL teams are thinking about him in a similar light, right? You know, those that are going to need a home run hitter, a field stretcher, a downfield option, a player that they can look to target for potential red zone plays, potential scoring plays. He could find his way onto some pretty potent NFL offenses, and to get him at ADP 23 as you're at the end of the second round is exactly the type of player I'm looking for. So I will raise my hand. I am more bullish than most on Jayden Higgins, but even taking a more conservative projection on what he does in his first year, I think this still screams value.
Yeah, I think to get Jayden Higgins all the way down here at ADP of 23, that is crazy value, man, because to me, like, this guy's not getting past me if I have like the 202, the 203 in my dynasty rookie draft, man, because he is a true X wide receiver. But I also think you play him in the power slot role. My goodness, could this guy also be dominant there? So I love the call on Jayden Higgins, man. I think aside from Ted McMillan, he is the truest X in this class. I love it, some AO Manor too, but at the same time, I do like Higgins. So Steve, keep with the wide receiver position here with your first FastDraft Origins rookie target, please.
Yeah, it's the true wide receiver 2 in this class for me, and that would be Tre Harris out of Ole Miss. Listen, Ole Miss has done it over and over and over again with these big physical wide receivers. We got AJ Brown, we got DK Metcalf. It happens, and Tre Harris fits that mold too. I don't know why he's not getting more hype. I couldn't explain it to you. I
think part of it is there's 3 Ole Miss wide receivers in this draft, and the Lane Kiffin offense also can occasionally produce some like faulty productions. Because while you get those studs, Steve, you also get Elijah Moore, right? Because we know Lane Kiffin and Jackson Dart the last 5 years have wanted to throw it around the yard quite a bit.
Yeah, but like Tre Harris passes the sniff test, right? I'm trying to say this, and I'm trying to come with facts, right? I always try to come with facts on this show.
Facts, not feelings.
Right. Sure. But sometimes feelings fucking matter, dude. Like, that's the thing. Like, and I think we get lost in the sauce a little bit, and we're like, but the numbers and the this and the advanced analytics. Sometimes ballers are just ballers, right? And like sometimes dudes are just that dude. And Tre Harris, that's a bad motherfucker out on the field. Like, if you're the cornerback lined up against Tre Harris, you're like, I'm in for a long fucking day. This is not going to be fun. He's going to be physical. He's going to be fast. He's going to go past me, may cut in front of me. And then if he does catch the ball, I have to try to tackle this motherfucker. Like, that's really difficult. And that's not a lot of guys in this draft that can say that. So at ADP 16, if this dude lands in a half decent situation, like Green Bay, for instance, he could be their wide receiver one tomorrow. So like, this is not the craziest jump to say that while I am bullish on Ted McMillan, I would be very, very, very satisfied landing Tre Harris as my wide receiver one in this draft.
Okay. I like the call out there on Tre Harris. For me, in the second round of my fast drafts, I'm looking for someone like Colston Loveland because I don't want someone that's going to screw me over. Like, I'm really trying to protect this early draft capital. Loveland currently for Michigan, coming off the board at 18.5 overall. And he's going to get enough draft capital right now as well. The books are saying it where he's going to be a first round pick. Damn, he's going to be a top 20 pick if you're listening to what the sports books are saying. So he's going to be a team's second target potentially in the NFL. That's going to score you fantasy points. That's what you need to be a difference maker at the fantasy tight end position. And I cannot say the same for players going around him that I really like Jalen Knoll, another Iowa State guy. Like he's someone who I think is more of a flanker than we talked about earlier with Jayden Higgins. Alec Ayomanor, another guy I love, but I'm not sure if he'll step right into an X role on day one. Loveland will be out on the field, man. And like, I get that it was a pretty tough season for him. And like ahead of this last year, like most people thought he was the tight end one of this class coming in 2024. We had this whole issue with the Wolverines playing musical chairs at quarterback. Is it going to be Alex Orji? Is it going to be Davis Warren? Is it going to be Jack Tuttle? Oh, it's going to be none of them. They all suck. And then like still finishes, first team all consensus American, man, 56 receptions, almost 600 yards, 5 touchdowns in just 10 games. So he's a really good player, guys. And he's going to have a guaranteed role, unlike a lot of the other players in this range. So I'm opting for the floor with Colston Loveland at ADP of 18 overall. Eric, back to you with your second target for Fast Draft. Oh, muted as well, Eric.
I think a lot. You got me?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. I think a lot of this speaks to my overall strategy on how I'm approaching Fast Draft, which is largely waiting on the running back position, right? I think that there are so many viable names as we get deeper into the draft that can pop up and contribute for you in a best ball context. One that I find myself getting to a lot is Damien Martinez coming out of the University of Miami. Absolute big back bruiser, but he's got some speed to his game. He's got a little bit of nimbleness, a little bit of fleet of foot. And all of that makes him very interesting, right? He's a guy that cracked the 3,000 career yards mark, averaging over 6.2 yards per carry. Not exactly the ham and egg plotter type, but has enough strength to break tackles, has enough ability to make people miss in open space and find the right hole at the line to where I think he'll be a red zone threat. And all that smells like touchdowns to me, which is exactly what you're looking for at the position in the best ball format. So, a guy that I think, on the upside could potentially look like a bit of Tank Bigsby from last year with a little bit more grace to his game is exactly who I'm looking for as you kind of creep into the third round there, right? That third round reversal is huge. So him sitting at ADP 32 is a prime punt RB candidate for me.
Steve, keep us with the running back position, man. Who are you running 500 miles to get here, man?
I don't run 500 miles, so if you ever
walk 5. You can walk 500 miles.
That's what I
walk,
do. That's where I was going with that. If you see me running, you should be running too, because I'm running away from you. But I'm going with Raheim Sanders. This is the kind of guy I love to get late because he's really been marred by injuries, which means you're going to get him at this like massive discount because teams are going to draft him late, but he really has the talent to be a starting running back in the NFL, right? So you look around and say the New Orleans Saints surprise us and don't take a running back in the first round. Let's just play that game. They wind up taking Raheim Sanders. They're not going to give Alvin Kamara 250 touches again. They just don't want to do it.
That would be a great role for Sanders.
Raheim Sanders has a lot of landing spots where he walks in as, if not the best, the second best running back on that roster.
Early thumper.
Yeah. And he's actually not as much of a thumper as people want to like put it out. Like this man ran in the 4.4s again. He is fast. Like this dude was hurt, but he's a
little stiff. He's stiff and he's tall when he runs. That's why I say thumper.
He's a tall runner. Like he's a long athlete, right? Like he kind of runs like a wide receiver, like an ex wide receiver, which is a problem sometimes for running backs. But he's like a long athlete and he's big, he's strong. But you know what? You know who else was like that? And it didn't really matter. As a matter of fact, he's probably the best running back of his generation. Derrick Henry. It's the same kind of idea. Like, granted, he's not quite Derrick Henry level of like aura I guess, coming out, but he has that same kind of running ability, like style of he runs vertically. He has long strides, but once he hits that open field, you're not catching him. And I think Raheim Sanders, he has pretty soft hands. He's a decent receiver. There's a path to touches for him, whether it's in Dallas, Denver, New Orleans, somewhere like that, that he could really be a huge value. And at ADP 55, I mean, what the fuck are we doing there? Like
last round,
there's only 6 rounds in the whole thing. So hell, land him in Miami, spell Devon Achane a bit, and let Raheim Sanders like go stomping through that line a bit. I think this could be a home run pick.
I don't mind the play at all at ADP 55. Good shout out there to your guy down there in South Carolina, Raheim Rocket Sanders. I'll round us out with my second favorite target over on FastDraft. And look, hey, I got to type, guys. I got to type right now. And again, like I'm just looking for players who I know will have a guaranteed role.
Like ugly tight ends.
Like I'm just looking for players who I know are going to have a role because like most of the players in this like late round 3 range are day 3 running backs, day 3 wide receivers, potentially, who will have trouble finding meaningful touches. Like, while I like Rocket Sanders, while I like Damien Martinez, like, it's still going to be an uphill battle unless they land in the perfect spot for them to get somewhere. On the other hand, LSU tight end Mason Taylor, he is all but likely going to walk into somewhere where he could be a starting tight end on day 1. He's been a big-time riser during this pre-draft process, son of Hall of Famer defensive end Jason Taylor. Like, certainly had a pretty, like, mediocre, productive career in Baton Rouge. He only had about 129 receptions, 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns in 3 seasons down there for Brian Kelly. But he is certainly very much so flashed during this pre-draft process. He, I think, could walk into a team where he is a top 2 target there. Potentially, he's visited with the Chargers. He would be the second target, I think, on that team unless they go out and add someone big. The Seahawks, I don't think he'd be the second target, but behind Cooper Kupp, JSN, I think you factor him in as 3. I don't like he's also visited with the Browns. I don't love that. He'd obviously have to wait behind David Njoku, but there's a lot of decent landing spots, I think, for Mason Taylor to instantly see the field there. So I'm certainly down for him to potentially land in a good spot and snap up some value here at ADP of 37. Mason Taylor, boys. Let's go. All right. Eric, you got some thoughts on Mason Taylor? You're grinning from ear to ear.
You paused like you wanted us to speak, and I was like, I just didn't want to burst your little bubble, so I'm gonna let Eric do it.
Yeah, that's
I'm not a Mason Taylor stan by any mean, but I just think teams love him a lot. It seems like he's getting steamed up there.
I like Mason Taylor a lot more in this range of rookie drafts than I do in best ball drafts. Right? We have been spoiled by the likes of Brock Bowers and Sam Laporta and this like absurd year 1 tight end production.
Tyler Warren.
It is very unlikely to have a tight end contribute in a meaningful way as a rookie. It's not impossible, but I would rather look elsewhere, specifically speculating in the running back market and looking at some of these higher upside receivers around this point of the draft.
Okay. That's fair. Steve, are you one of those that just kind of thinks Mason Taylor's getting all the hype because of his family name? Is that really where you are?
Well, it's not because of skill or production. So what the fuck else could it be? Like,
I think it's your prototypical size for a tight end, and he's got a little bit of athleticism too.
It's not it. This dude isn't it. There's nothing about him that screams that he is, right? If I'm wrong, it's not. The process was wrong. You know what I mean? It's one of those like anomalies that how did this happen? Because it makes no sense. He's not explosive enough. He's not big enough. He's not fast enough. He's not productive enough.
I think he's a guy who can get on the field like very early. Like while we're looking out at guys like, well, I think we all like Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin does not have the size to be on the field for three downs. Hell, Dalton Kincaid doesn't. We're seeing in the NFL. Mason Taylor has that. He could be in. I mean, it might be a Pat Freiermuth type role where he's maxing out 700 yards, couple touchdowns a year. But
I don't know how
there's a floor.
Blocker.
There's a floor here with Mason Taylor, boy.
Isn't.
There's a floor. There's not much of a ceiling, but there's a damn floor.